emotions and look at this logically.
Exactly.
But I think So is probably getting out alone into nature or playing in that zone. It allows them, it's like a stress relief valve.
I mean, to be honest, like I said, it's you who, in situations that seem really, really stressful, that are the positive one. And I think the other thing that I think is, I think every band needs a person like you, the type of person who can remove themselves from the situation and look at you and say, hey man, look, it's really crappy right now, but we got this. Let's not worry about what we can't control, and let's go back and do what we came here to do, which is either perform or get people excited about us getting ready to perform, So, I asked that question, and I hope it doesn't come off kind of like sounding like an asshole, but there's something, I wish I could understand some of the, just the happiness that you bring as a person to any situation, whether it be negative or whether it already be a happy situation. You can make everyone and anyone in the room feel at peace. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a fucking awesome thing.
It's so funny hearing you say that, because while Blue says I'm the most positive person he's been around, Blue is the most unashamedly positive, big energy person I have ever met, and he has been like that since the moment I met him.
My kids and wife would say otherwise.
Is that when Blue came to join Devil Inside, the first practice he came into, within 30 seconds, he busted in the door and he's like, all right, what's up, guys? Let's get some stuff out of the way. First off, my name is Franz. People call me Blue. You might hear my fiancée, Tasha. She's beautiful. I love her so much. She's the best. But she may call me, yes, Tasha, he actually said that. But she may call me Franz, just in case you want to know. Second off, I'm not black. I am Puerto Rican. No, I cannot speak a word of Spanish, so don't ask me.
I think people...
That was the first 30 seconds of meeting Blue. And I remember Tom and I just looked at each other like, what the fuck is going on?
No, I think a lot of people get confused. I mean, don't get me wrong. I grew up in a background where, I was predominantly I grew up around black people my whole entire life, but I was born Puerto Rican. But I do have family members who, if you saw them, you would think they were probably, black themselves, but they don't speak a lick of English. They're all Hispanic and stuff like that. And it's also, it just has to do with where we come from in the part of Puerto Rico and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't recognize that. They're like, they see the dark skin. What's up, my brother? I'm just like, yeah, what up, man? How you doing, man? Just some irregular, and it's nothing. I don't want to separate myself from there's African roots within Puerto Ricans that a lot of people don't recognize. And I don't want to separate myself from that. I respect it. I love it. And I respect, that, my little sister, she's half Jamaican, half Puerto Rican, but you see her, you just swear she was all black, you know what I'm saying? So some people, I don't know. I don't know why I had to explain that, but some people get so confused with that sometimes, but it's all good. Me and Ty had a conversation on my podcast, and if you haven't heard that one, you should listen back. I think it's episode 6. Ty's on there talking about, being colored and being in music. We both had that same struggle. A lot of people look at us kind of differently because we don't look like everybody else, but that's the fantastic part about it, is we get a opportunity to show people that, certain people in a weird way identify certain races with doing certain kinds of music, but me and Ty kind of step in and just say, hey, we're not the same race, we're different, and we do the same exact thing, and we can do it pretty well too.
Yeah. Which I think that's especially prevalent in metal, is if it's not a white dude with long hair up on stage, everybody looks at the band strangely.
No, and that's okay. I'm not mad at it. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I definitely wish it could change a little bit more, because I do know people. There's a lot of talented, people of color who front metal bands. I mean, hell, there's a lot of talented like people from overseas, Japanese people, Korean people that do really sick metal bands, Crystal Lake.
Duran Gray.
Yeah, Duran Gray. Crystal Lake is one of those bands that, like, I have a lot of respect for. They're different color. You wouldn't expect them to hit you with they do, but they do. But anyways, Josh, I got a question for you, man. Me and you were both in the Devil Inside, which you were extremely proud of, we found out earlier in this episode.
Wait, I have to stop you. What did you just call the band?
Oh, Devil Inside. Sorry, I didn't mean to say the. Yeah, no, I've gotten in trouble with that before.
It's been multiple times he has introduced us as the Devil Inside.
Well, here's the thing, though. In proper English, you would say the when I was asking when we're talking about the band, it would be Devil Inside. So in proper English, you would say the, but that's just me messing things up as always.
No, I think everybody has made that mistake at some point because of that, and also because Slipknot released a song called "The Devil and I."
That's true. Yeah, that's probably built in there somewhere. It's almost like that famous
brain.
Yeah, it's almost like that famous line that everyone forgets from Star Wars. It's like, if I'm not mistaken, it's the "I'm your father" part. And I don't think he says it that way. I think he says it another way, but people remember it the other way than it was. It's just like, no, it's not what he said. You know?
Yes. What Blue is talking about is Darth Vader never goes, "Luke, I am your father." He just says, "No, I am your father."
Exactly.
But everybody can hear that line perfectly in their head. Darth Vader saying, "Luke," but that didn't happen. You are remembering incorrectly.
Exactly. What is that called? It's something I can't remember what it's called. The something effect. I'm trying to remember. It's not that big of a deal.
I don't remember either. Actually.
But anyways, so me and you were both in Devil Inside. Got that one right. What was it besides the chance to create your own bass lines and your own bass riffs? What was it about that band that made you feel happy, feel wanted, feel like this is the band that I need to be in?
So at that point in time, I had been heavily looking to join a band full time. I was finally ready. I finally had like a little bit of money saved up in the bank, so I could afford to cart gear around and afford new strings on the regular.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a taste of performing right before that. I had played my first show, I think, several months before I joined Devil Inside with a band called Intercourse. What's up, Ricky? Hey, Caleb, Timmy. Those are all the members. They're all my friends at this point. The bass player, Tim, is like my surrogate punk rock dad. He was my boss. I bought my entire amp and setup from him.
Wow.
But I had gotten to fill in for them one night, which was fun. If you've never heard Intercourse, they play very loud. They play very discordant hardcore, and it's amazing, and I love them. But Timmy hadn't been able to play a show one night, and he gave me the opportunity to fill in. So Jay, the guitar player, he and I spent 2 hours at the bar beforehand, and then we went on stage at this weird little punk rock get-together out in Mystic in an old VFW hall, because that's one of the most old punk rock hardcores you can do in New England, is with a hardcore gathering at the VFW. But
I've played several.
Got to just release all that pent-up energy where I just, for like 15 minutes, just beat the living snot out of my bass, and I got to end that show, rip it off, and I just took the bass off, and I threw it to the ground as hard as possible, and I shattered it into 3 pieces, and I threw my pedal board, just because that's what the course was at the time, was it was just chaotic hardcore.
Violence.
And I loved like every second of it. And then I got to do a little bit of fill-in work with a band that I still miss, and I would like to do more fill-in work with them, called Cometa, which is founded by twin brothers Grant and Gareth Cometa. What's up, boys? If you hear this, I love you both. But they're like a dancey pop punk band.
Nothing wrong with that.
And so I got to fill in with them a couple times, and they 100% made me a better bass player. They broke me out of my 4-on-the-floor hardcore roots, and they taught me how to play like off-time changes and off-time triplets, and where to add cool octave accent notes. Since we're playing in drop D, you have two D strings on there, so you can add some pretty cool octave hits that will accentuate the snare hit. It 100% helped me, but at that time I was like, I want to be in a band full time.
Okay.
So way back in the dark days of 2017, I saw a Craigslist ad saying that Devil Inside was looking for a bass player, and I responded to the ad, but then I looked them up, and I found their Facebook, and I got to see some videos of them playing, and my first thought was like, oh, they're like Howard Jones era Killswitch, because they've got Ty, who is able to sing and scream interchangeably. And the song that I was able to hear sounded really good. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then I saw, hey, they're playing a show like a day or two, the Saturday after Thanksgiving 2017. I should go to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can go and I can introduce myself. So what's funny is before then I'd taken a day trip up to Barkhamstead, Connecticut. Don't worry, nobody knows where that is. To go see Intercourse record a music video and play a small show in a barn with all of the other anarcho-crust punks who'd pulled themselves out of the gutter to go see that. That was fun. It was a little scary being on the side of a barn with a whole bunch of other punk rock kids watching Intercourse, hearing somebody very drunkenly complain that nobody had any cocaine that he could snort off a stripper's boobs. That was weird. But after Intercourse did their thing, Tim was like, yeah, the next band isn't playing until 9. We're not going to stick around.
Whoa.
You don't have to. I was like, cool, I'm not. I'm going to go see this band Devil Inside down in Stratford at Main Street Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and I'm telling you all this to tell this story because I love telling it to people. So I went down Main Street Tavern in 2017 to see Devil Inside play. I got there before all of the other bands, and I got to watch everybody load in. And I remember I was standing up watching the first band start to play, and I'm leaning against this post, and Devil Inside, I hadn't met them yet, but they're standing right next to me. And if anybody has ever seen me at a show, they know what I look like. Black pants, Doc Martens, my denim vest, long hair. I looked like the ghost of Cliff Burton. And Tom Bucano has later told me that he and Steve both were like, who is this creepy guy that looks like the ghost of Cliff Burton standing there watching? Nobody has any idea who he is. We're all kind of freaked out. But I was watching the first band set up, and I remember watching their guitar player, who looked like he was 12, get ready. And then when they started, they all wore masks. And their guitar player was wearing this mask that covered the bottom of his mouth but left his eyes free. And he walked up to somebody earlier on while he was playing to just stare directly at them. And all I could think of was, you don't want to do that to me. It's not going to end as I think it is. So he walks back, and then Tom walks up and stands next to me and just has his arms crossed and is waiting. And I didn't know him yet. And then this guitar player for the first band walks over to me, and I watch him come closer, and I'm like, all right, you're doing this. You have to accept the consequences. So he acts like he's going to be all tough, Mr. 12-year-old, get right in my face. So he comes up. I just push myself off the post, grab him by the back of the head, and give him the biggest, wettest, sloppiest kiss on the mouth of his mask as I could. I might have died from how hard he was laughing.
Only Josh. If you understand who Josh is, this is an only Josh moment, because that is so Josh. It's not even funny. Go ahead, Josh.
But then I just got to sit and wait, and I met. The funny part is, there was a band that played directly before Devil Inside called Demon Chauffeur, who I'm now friends with everybody in that band. Mm-hmm. Their drummer at the time, Ray Ludi III, my heavy metal brother from another mother.
Shouts out to Ray.
For the game, the second sexiest man alive. But that is now essentially my little brother and my musical other half. He and I now play together as often as we can. And he was later the drummer for Devil Inside.
I hope I can get him on the show soon too, because I love his story. And if anybody doesn't know anything about Ray, he's high energy. He's got a long line of family of musicians, man, and I think he's got a really great story. Just like Josh has a great story, man. You know,
Ray, without a doubt, the best drummer in Connecticut.
There is no disrespect to anybody I've played with. You know, I thought Rich was a great drummer. He brought a lot of energy to it, but when it comes to execution, it comes to pure talent, Ray is that guy. And it's no disrespect to my dude Rich. Rich does an awesome job as a drummer. When we were in Years of Vengeance, I thought he was absolutely amazing. But working with Ray and understanding how Ray sees drums and how it formulates together is pretty awesome. So real quick before we close this show, because we're getting to that time, Josh. It's been really great having you on, and I appreciate.
Can I wrap up the story?
Oh yeah, that's right. Shoot, I'm already messing it up. Go ahead and hit that.
Anyways, real quick, I I get lost in storytelling, but
No, it's all right.
watched Devil Inside play without a bass player, and I loved what I heard because it sounds like the Howard Jones era kill switch
Mm-hmm.
that so many of us love, and it's not. It's very